Meantime, you could probably say the same thing for Steelers kicker Chris Boswell. If I'm going to go with Crosby in the NFC, I got to go with Boswell in the AFC in this matchup between the Steelers and the Chiefs. 6 field goals. I know all the great stats that were compiled by so many of the Steelers' offensive players. But you know what? It doesn't count if it doesn't happen in the end zone, right? Or it doesn't go on the board. I mean, what good is 170 yards rushing from Le'Veon Bell if there's no touchdown to tack on to that, right? At least that's what I'm going to say here as far as this argument is concerned. Chris Boswell, his right leg accounted for all of the points for the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game. Just a crazy game. If you would have told me that the Kansas City Chiefs held the Steelers without a touchdown and in fact had 2 more touchdowns than the Steelers, I would have said, oh my gosh, the Chiefs, get ready to go to Foxborough, right?
I know, and I totally agree with you, although there wouldn't have been those field goal opportunities if it wasn't for Le'Veon Bell rushing all over this Chiefs defense. And I have to say... Between the 20s. But I will say, though, if you are the Chiefs, it's a little bit embarrassing because you know that Bell's been able to do this all season long. You have the tape of how successful he is. All you got to do is watch it and try and come up with a defensive scheme. Guess what? They weren't able to do that, and it was one of the reasons that the Steelers took this one because, yes, Bell didn't get into the end zone, but they didn't need him in the end zone.
Look, the Chiefs' defense did their part. They did their part.
They lost. I would not say they did their part.
No, the offense for the Chiefs didn't do their part, okay? I think the defense... You're telling me that holding the Steelers without a touchdown, even with 18 points, that you should be able to win a game at home, right? Come on.
Bell put up 170
He did. It doesn't matter. It happened between
you.
the 20s.
Yeah, but it ended up setting up a lot of those field goals.
It did. My point is, though, that the Steelers, they're very fortunate that the Chiefs could not muster, and who knows. Now, we saw the holding call, and we argued about this yesterday, Sal and I did, about how, look, you could call that play on just about every snap in the NFL. I was a little surprised that they called that at that time. I'm not saying it wasn't a hold. I'm saying you could have called that, right? There's almost every pass play has holding on it.
I don't know, but I feel like the implications and how egregious it was clear that it was
I think the fact that Harrison went to the ground, because he was trying to go low and went down to the ground, that's what made it look like it was probably worse than it was. But I'm just saying, I think we see that kind of a play from offensive linemen and defensive linemen and rushers all the time in the NFL. That said, it doesn't matter. The Chiefs needed to score another touchdown along the way, or even another field goal along the way, and they couldn't do it. So give the Steelers credit. I'm not taking anything away from them.
Well, he also knows the Chiefs. Sorry, Alex Smith, he's your quarterback, but he's not the strongest quarterback, and you put him up against Big Ben.
We've talked about how the 4 quarterbacks right now,
right.
3 of the guys have Super Bowl rings, and a 4th could be the MVP.
Right.